Happy day, dear children. Welcome to a 6th standard English class. Hope you are all good. Today, we are going to learn about the mysterious visitor 2. In previous class, we learned the mysterious visitor 1, now 2. Page number 93. People come to arrest the mysterious visitor, but his stained secret allows him to resist, leading to a fight and general confusion. Hall was the first at the visitor's room and he pushed the door open. "Do what you must do," he said to Jafar. Jafar walked in, then Hall with Vargas last. They could see the body without a head in the candlelight. He had some food in his hand that he had robbed from the kitchen. "That's the man," Hall said. "What the devil is this?" said the angry sound coming from above the shoulder of the man without the head. "You are a bad one," said Jafar. "But head or no head, you are going to prison." "Keep away," said the visitor, jumping back. He put the food down. The Hall lifted a sharp knife from the table. The visitor pulled off his left glove, throwing it into Jafar's face. Jafar was holding him by an arm without a hand and was feeling for his invisible throat. The visitor kicked him in the leg. It made Jafar shout, but he did not let go of the man. Hall pushed the knife across the table to Vargas. "At his feet," said Jafar between his teeth. Hall tried to obey, but was kicked in the ribs, making him lose his hold, and walked, seeing the man with no head now on top of Jafar's on the floor. Left in the fear with the knife in his hand, he ran into Mr. Hector, a store owner, and another man who were coming to help Jafar. At the same time, 3 or 4 bottles were knocked from the desk, breaking and filling the room with the strong smell. "I will stop," said the visitor, getting to his feet. He was breathing heavy and looked very strange. He was without a head or hands, for now he had pulled off his other glove. "It is no good," he said, finding it difficult to breathe. It was strange to hear words coming from an empty space, but success people were not easily surprised. "Jafar, look out some handkerchief." "I said," Jafar said, "remember that the man had no hands. How can I use the handkerchief?" The man was running his arm down his coat. As his empty sleeve pointed to each button, it opened as if moved by a spirit. Then he was bending down and his shoes were coming loose. "That's not the man at all," said Huxtable. "All it is empty cloth. Look, you can see inside his shirt through the neck as the bent over." He put out his hand, but it hit something in the middle of the air. He pushed his hand back with a cry of surprise. "Do keep your finger out of my eyes," said the invisible man. "I am all here: head, hands, legs, eyes, and all other parts. But I am invisible. It's very difficult for me. But it is the truth, and it's no reason for me to be pushed in the eye by each stupid person in Iping." There were many others now in the room. "Invisible? Did you at any time in the past year of think like this?" asked Hector. "I agree that it is strange, but it is no reason for policemen to take action against me," said the man. You have no reason to hit me in this way. I have reason to take you to court and prison, said Jafar. That reason is not because you are invisible, but because the prison house were robbed this morning, and it's all points to you. What foolish talk, said the invisible man. But I must take you in. I will come, said the man, but no handshake. But it is rule, said Jafar. No handshake, said the man again. It's not for me to say, said Jafar. The invisible man collapsed into the chair and quickly pulled off his shoes, socks, and pants. Then he jumped up and pulled off his coat. Yes, stop that, shouted Jafar, understanding now what was happening. Chatting his shirt, Jafar shouted, hold him if he get his clothes off. Hold him, cried others in the room. But his white shirt was all that he had on. A shirt sleeve is Jafar strongly in the face, making his fall backward. The buttons of shirt came apart. Jafar quickly caught the shirt again, but the man pulled out of his shirt more quickly, hitting Jafar in the mouth at the same time. Jafar moved his stick through the air, trying to hit the invisible man, but he was not able to find him. By accident, the stick hit Teddy Henfrey's head, making him fall back. Look out, people shouted as Jafar hit through the air at nothing. Hold him, close the door. Don't get him space to live. Here he is. What a noise they made. They were all hitting and being hit. Vadgus opened the door to leave. The other all tried to follow him at the same time, but no one was able to move through the narrow doorway. Jafar did not stop hitting with his stick. A fish hit Jafar in face. He turned, feeling a body between himself and Hexton. His hands were on a chest covered with hair. Then the whole missing group of men exploded through the door. That means rushed out through the door into the walkway. I have him, shouted Jafar in pain, fighting with his invisible prisoner who was holding Jafar around the neck. The whole group was slowly making its way towards the front door and down the step of the coach and horses. Jafar tried to cry for help but was not able to breathe. He collapsed under the others, his head hitting the hard road. At last, the prisoner was free of Jafar's hold. People were shouting, "He is invisible, hold him," and other things like this. One young man moved to catch him, but he fell over the body of the policeman. A woman cried out as something pushed by her. A dog was running in fear after being kicked by something it was not able to see. Through it all, the invisible man was able to run away. As the noise died down, the people were running like the wind to all parts of the town, and Jafar was left on the ground without movement, his face looking up to the sky. Okay, children, hope you understood this lesson. Thank you. Have a nice day.